Hi, my name is Gerhard Gschwandtner and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the pleasure of meeting with Marc Lamson. He's the president of ASLAN Training and Development. Welcome, Marc.
Thanks, Gerhard, for having me.
So, selling is getting harder. What has changed in the last 5 to 10 years and why?
Well, for starters, information. Information is widely available on the internet and continuous streams of information coming to customers. So therefore, they're just better informed when they enter the sales process, and they depend much less on the sales rep for that information on their products, on the pricing, on how it works. Then what happens is access is even harder. Getting even to have a conversation with the decision maker is more difficult. And if I actually do gain that access and I actually am moving on the process, the face-to-face meetings are happening less and less. It's over the phone, it's over the internet, and I'm losing all the benefit as a sales rep of that body language and sort of reading your emotional buy-in to the conversations.
The big question is, what can salespeople do to mitigate those challenges?
The first thing they have to do is embrace a new role. Their role is a trusted advisor, and a true trusted advisor earns a seat at the table with the customer to help them make the decision. The number one key to getting the customer to invite you to their table is to get them more receptive. Because as you can imagine, customers, we find, are not very receptive to having you come in and sit beside them and help them with the decision process. So it's all about getting customers more receptive to your new role.
Big question. How do you get customers more receptive?
Well, there's a lot of options that reps have, and what we see from customers we work with is when the reps are realizing there's a receptivity problem, the customer is not receiving or listening or engaging with the rep, they usually choose from one of 4 different options. First, they go try to come up with that perfect message. Sales reps are overly focused on the seed, on the message, on the magical statement that's going to get the customer's attention, but it's really being planted into a unfertile soil or the customer's mind. The next option they have is to delay the conversation or delay planning until maybe the next season, and maybe there's another budget cycle coming. They'll abandon that altogether. They'll abandon that customer, that prospect. They'll literally move their fields and go plant somewhere else. But lastly, the really only good option is to shift their strategy, and it's no longer about selling. Only 16% of reps pick option number 4, and when they do, they don't really know how to do that.
So what you're saying that salespeople need to stop selling. How does that work?
We focus on other-centered selling. Other-centered and being other-centered is really the key to driving that receptivity and stop selling, but becoming more of an advisor.
So define other-centered. What does that mean? More empathy or better questions?
It's a mindset. We talk about 4 steps of being other-centered. We talk about decide, making an actual decision to serve others. Choosing who you can serve. If you try to serve everyone, you serve no one. Then it becomes serve, and how do you actually serve? How do you really get into the unstated emotional needs that customers have? And lastly, we talk about seeking the truth about you and getting feedback and really being humble to a certain extent. If you can do those 4 things, you become other-centered, and that's significantly different from most self-centered people that are out there.
So can you share an example where we put this into action?
One of the concepts we teach is something called drop the rope. Simple concept. Tension's increasing. There's lots of tension in the sales process. If I give you a rope and I pull back, you're going to pull back, and I'm in a tug of war. Even if I win the tug of war, I'm not going to win the tug of war with the customer. And the only way to get out is to drop the rope. Drop the rope means it's your choice. I'm a salesperson, but you choose whether we meet or whether you buy. Another example is a concept we call taking the trip. We believe there's something called the polar principle that's in place. The polar principle is nobody wants to hear your perspective until they understand, you understand their perspective first. And if you can do that, then people are more open.
So now you shared all this insight. How do you transform that in the salesperson's mind so it sticks in execution?
Beliefs drive behaviors. If we help reps realize that it's really more effective to be other-centered, and they believe that, then they'll be other-centered and they'll change their behavior to be other-centered. It's really about fulfillment. We're most fulfilled when we serve others. And if we help people realize that, they change that way. And we talk purposefully in our training, in our materials, about how these apply, about how when I'm trying to teach my 11-year-old son who's resistant to my coaching playing basketball, that I need to drop the rope and say, you do not have to shoot that way or do that. And when I do those things, it's becoming other-centered. And customers, or our customers or sales reps, when they see that application in their own life, we get a letter every so often that says, this is how I applied it in my personal life. And if you can be other-centered with your spouse, with your family, then you're other-centered in the workplace, and it's just who you become versus what you do as a sales rep.
Great message, great insights. For anybody who'd like to get more information, go to aslantraining.com.